Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Bearded Browns podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and that's your guy in the middle there. He's invisible today. And Chad, what's up, Chad? How are you? Man, we got a show planned for everybody today. We're going to talk about the Browns versus the Titans this week. It was a game that had its ups and downs, obviously, but you saw some promise coming out of some other people, especially some rookies that have been a part of this team all year. So that was a plus for all of us to see. Unfortunately, it led to a loss, which is the downfall. So
a weird week because it kind of feels like, I don't know, we've had a lot of games so far that have been pretty close losses and just have felt like pretty heartbreaking or devastating. And then we've even had a win that was somewhat like one or two. We've actually had, I think, like two wins that were like not that exciting. Like the win itself at the moment was, but following, you're like, yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what it means. This was an interesting win or an interesting loss where there was enough positives that we don't have to come into this week just saying like, rabble, like everything is bad. But at the same time, it was such an flip of what we've seen on both the offensive and defensive side. It felt like almost a week where I'm just not sure what to make of it. So we'll get into all that. But this is definitely the most unique week for me of the season.
hey, remember that one unique win that we had where I left with 4 minutes left and we wound up winning? That was a good time. I remember that day. I'll never forget that day, as a matter of fact.
Welcome
and
back.
I got it. Yes. Hello, Angel. We are live. I pulled off a last second intro there. But we got it done. We are good. We're live. Right? You all right, Angel?
Oh no, he had a
Maybe
stroke.
not.
Well, I guess we'll go without him until he gets popped back into routine.
Yeah, we'll get right into the Browns talk. The Browns news. Posick era is over for the year. Wyatt's in a boot and a Tillman concussion. That Tillman concussion kind of scared me, dude. It was one of those ones where you don't want to see any team have to deal with stuff like that. But I like the respect of the other guy actually literally like waving on the team medical staff, like, come over here. The dude's concussed for sure. And definitely do not want to see that. And he was one of the ones that were coming back and starting to make some things happen for the team.
Yeah, he took a knock, and it's really disappointing for him. Like, it's got to be hard for him. Like, I saw a lot of fans. Like, we've talked about this over and over. I have a very different view of injuries because that's my profession. But you just see so many people, which is for me is tough, being like, "Oh, this guy's like always hurt. Get him out of there." And I almost have to like roll through the logic of guys. Like, did you see the hit he just took? That's not a like Cedric Tillman injury prone issue. He got blasted, and I'm just not sure how many tight ends or wide receivers or even running backs get up from that unscathed. Like, he got blasted. And so I feel for the kid because it feels like every time he starts to get a rhythm going with the quarterback that's out there, something comes up to just get him off the field for a while and take him out of sync. And that's been tough because when he's out there, he's been relatively good.
Yeah, it's a bummer to watch something like that.
Yeah. And then The reason I made sure to mention that Wyatt's in a boot there is because we had a ton of conspiracy last week that Wyatt wasn't actually hurt, Wyatt was fine, like what was going on. And then some people this week also speculated like he's not going to play and it's because he's in trouble. But he was seen on the sidelines both at practice and in a walking boot. So I thought it was worth mentioning. Like, yes, he is obviously hurt. Nobody just walks around in a fake walking boot. And then for Ethan Pocic, which you went over, like sad, one of the worst injuries in football, definitely at the top for like total rehab time and limitation for the rest of your career, especially for a older player. It's confirmed that he tore his Achilles, and so we know from all of the recent Achilles tears, including the ones on our old team, that that's about a full year uh, injury. I mean, you're looking at Watson right now, who just got activated in December, a full 11 months after he had the second tear, which tells you that there's a good chance Ethan's not going to be ready to play football until sometime around next November, December, January. And with him being a free agent, there's a good shot that just that year he's taken off and just nobody's going to bring him in. Not going to be able to pass a physical. You'd have to bring him up, throw him directly on the pup list, and who's paying for that? So his career may not be over, although this is a major, major injury, but his tenure with the Browns is probably done. You think they're gonna go with Luke Whippler most likely next year and then bring in someone else to fill the backup role.
Do you think any of this offensive line is going to return next year? To be honest,
I think the only person that's gonna be on the field next year for this team again, um, that has played that started the beginning of this year is DeJuan Jones. I think there's a really good case to be made that Bitonio retires, Wyatt is at the end of his contract, Pocic is at the end of his contract. Both of them are hurt right now. It's very clear the Browns were already looking into their backups a little bit before they left the field, and now they're definitely like zoning in on Tevin Jenkins and KT Levinston, and Zach Zinter was live for the first time this season, and um, the other guy is Conklin is another one who is at the end of his contract. He's uh, just got a concussion. We know his injury history. Like, I'm just not sure a scenario where anybody but DeJuan Jones comes back outside of these like backups that have been in. In fact, um, who is it we have playing rotating tackle on the left side? Why does this name escape me?
left tackle.
Tavion
The
and
vet pulled from the vet we pulled from the Texans.
Washington. Shoot. Hold on. I'll look.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah, the name
I
is.
don't know why I don't know why his name escapes me, but the idea is at this point you've got a whole list of like guys who are playing now who might be back last year, but most of them are backups that are just getting a look.
Are you talking about KT Leviston?
No.
KT Leviston, Cam Robinson,
Cam Robinson.
Kenori, Lucas.
Yeah, Robinson, I could see a scenario with him coming in and them needing some veteran in that position and him getting re-signed and competing for a starting spot. But right now it looks like they're going to be looking in the offseason at those positions. And to your question, Mike, I see a better scenario where Bitonio just hangs it up. I see a big scenario where Wyatt Teller doesn't get re-signed here. I can see a scenario now. Pocic definitely isn't back. I can't believe they'd bring Jack Conklin back, which means that entire veteran lineup we've seen for so long likely out the door, which will be a big change for us probably as fans as much as the team because we've seen these guys for so long.
Do you think anything can change Bitonio's mind for retiring?
I don't think. I think it's done.
Shedeur Sanders looks incredible, and they're like, "Hey,
we're
going back with this same group. There's no questions. We're running it back." I could see him sticking around for that. He's been one of the most steady linemen on this team, despite being 32 or 33.
Yeah.
Has anybody been better this year? Probably not.
No, I just don't see it because last year the retirement talk came up and it's It's got to be a big thought on his mind, obviously.
And
I
they're
mean, what are
bad.
you gonna?
It'd be hard to come back, but let's just say the scenario, like, if there's an unknown at quarterback, you're coming back being like, even if they draft somebody, a rookie, like, are we gonna have any chance at a good year, next year? The only scenario I can see is, like, the offense really starts ticking this last 4 games of the season, and
Mhm.
he feels like, "I don't wanna leave yet, I want one more run where I think we can do something with this group."
I would
Yeah,
love
'cause
it. It's just
they
injuries. I'm sorry.
yeah, they said that he's walking around kind of like what Joe Thomas was his last year. He's
Mhm.
sore, walking around, slumped over. So that would be interesting to see if
At the Green Bay game, he looked rough. I mean, he was it was questionable for that game,
He's old.
but he played, and he was just
Makes
his pregame
football old.
warm-ups were looking like me when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, again, I see a bigger scenario where he leaves. The only scenario I could think of where he stays is the offense starts clicking and he's like believes in what they're going to do next year. But otherwise, these young guys got to get in and get a move on.
I agree. I
Let's hope.
100% agree. Uh, so what's up, guys?
Nothing.
Angel?
We just hit the Browns talking injury news. We skipped
Okay.
over the top story because we
Uh,
wanted to save it
the
for you.
top, there's a top story. Oh yeah, you're right.
Impromptu introduction was amazing. I was
Yeah,
like,
no, it's. I mean, when you have a family of a 7-month-old, I've learned anything can happen at any moment, and you just gotta be ready. And
do you
I heard
guys
my
believe that?
name and the tone of my wife's voice and made me believe this podcast isn't as important as my marriage. So I hear up and bounce real quick to see what was going on. I came back. Sorry about that, guys.
Did you make sure to tell her you were busy though?
Yes, hey babe, I'm busy right now. I know there's a fire going on, but can you put it out for me?
There was a
Uh,
fire?
no, I'm just joking. Oh, a
Oh,
family fire, like a little drama. Either way, shout out to
fun
my wife for
times.
taking care of that. Yeah,
Speaking of
posted. Yeah,
that,
go ahead.
I was gonna say let's get to the good and bad and the ugly while you're talking about a house fire and
Are we not even going to hit the top story of the entire week?
Top story of the entire week is this: Shedeur Sanders named starter throughout the rest of the season. Dun,
Barring an
dun.
injury.
Barring injury. Yeah, then you have Dylan Gabriel or Zappy come in.
Is it just me that's
ooh,
like, there's a 99% chance he gets a concussion now
Yeah,
that it's
it's
finally
always
been like,
yeah,
he had his first great game, he looked good, and he's being named the starter for the rest of the season. I'm almost expecting first drive of the next game, boink,
yeah.
and he's
Yeah,
out
he's
for
all
2
right,
weeks.
cool. Kinda like
it's the
when
Cleveland
the
Brown.
Ohio
That
State game was
that's the Browns
Mendoza.
fan up here. That's the
Yeah.
Cleveland up in my head that I can't get out no matter how long I live in California.
It's
Yeah.
that ocean water
That's that
getting in
salt
your
water is
ears.
into
Yeah.
you. Unfortunately. Yeah, he's the name starter. It's a good move. We're gonna get to his the game recap. We're gonna get more into his performance in a little bit. So stay tuned. But drop down below if you think he should how you think he would do these next couple of games. Throw us some stats, throw us what you think how many games he's gonna win. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're listening from in the comments so we can shout you out and see where you guys are listening from. Either way, we're about to go into one of our favorite segments of this podcast: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, good, bad, and ugly brought to you by Allstate Insurance. Give Doug White a call. Let him know the Bearded Brown sent you. Maybe he can save you some money on some car insurance today. Save Mike some money. Save them enough to buy Mike I don't know, where you going to buy
A
with that money?
liquid death.
That's how much inflation is hurting us here in Ohio that he saved enough money just buy one can of liquid.
No, 2 cans.
2 cans. All right. You
Okay.
got
You
that
can save
raised.
$3 on
Yes.
Allstate apparently.
Yeah.
Saturday, that'd be great because I could have called it myself Toucan Sam, but
Yeah.
I can't do that today. But
You can't.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Good, bad, ugly. I'll go first. Sanders production, very I'll be honest. I picked them to lose this game, but I did not know they would lose the way they lost. I said 17-14 in the chat because I thought he would throw a pick, which I was right. I thought it was gonna be a pick six. I thought he played well. We're gonna get again. We're gonna get into specifics later, so tune in. Either you're gonna hate it or love it. Either way, we're gonna We would love your engagement on it. But Sanders' surprise performance for me. He showed a lot of composure and, you know, one step forward to possibly relieving us Browns fans of who the quarterback may be.
It could be 2 steps back, considering we lost 2 offensive linemen as well. So we'll see that next week.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, you want the bad?
No, I'd like to take the ugly. You take the bad.
Man. Defense gave up 31 points. It was like a flip-flop. You seen the offense actually starting to shine a little bit, and the defense completely took a turn for the worst. It was not fun watching that game. And you guys, we text throughout the game, and I literally text you guys. I'm like, I'm done. It was 14, nothing or whatever. I'm like, I'm done. I'm turning it off. And I did. I turned it off for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, my mind's going a million miles a minute. Like, how's Shedeur doing? How's everybody else looking? What are we doing? What's going on?
I can't quit you.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, man. See?
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
just
I like-
described the exact breakdown of an addict. Like, I'm done with this. I quit. I'm just gonna put it away, and it's not for me anymore. And 15 minutes later, you're sweating, shaking. Like, I just need a little more. I mean, well, how could it hurt just to have a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem, guys. We've all got it.
It was horrible. Miles did get one more sack, so he is now 3 away from breaking the record of most sacks in a season.
Yep.
It just, I don't know what happened with the defense. Somebody tell me how Pollard ran 161 yards on this defense is beyond me, but I guess it could happen any given Sunday, right?
Yeah. It can happen. We'll talk more about the defense when we get there because I have a couple of things I want to say, but we'll keep this train going. Chad, how about the ugly for you?
Yeah, the ugly is that despite what you just said, Angel, that Sanders had his first good performance and kind of carried this offense to a level we haven't seen that this year yet. We still lost to the team that was ranked 32nd in the league, in line to pick first in the draft, and essentially, although I don't think they're the weakest team we played defensively, or just the worst quarterback we played, it was definitely the team that everyone had expected could be picking first again, and now they're not because you couldn't actually find a way to beat them. And to me, as much as I said there's some positives out of this just for Browns fans solely who are looking for direction, as the NFL, the stat line for Boomer's fastest 2 minutes was just Browns find a way to botch a win against the worst team in the league. Titans get their second win of the season, and just hearing that from a global perspective is that's so disgusting that the headline is basically Titans able to edge Browns. I just thought this was, if there was ever an easy, every person looked at the schedule and went, okay, at least there's one easy win here. And we lost the game. We lost that game. So that's the ugly, because it's not every day you lose to the 32nd team in the league and become one of their only 2 wins. And it could be their only 2 wins of the entire season.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, when I saw 3.5-point favorites at home, I thought to myself, how can we be 3.5-point favorites against the worst team in the league? And I thought to myself, there's no way we're going to win. Vegas already has this as even at best. I'm like, there's something going on. So that's why I picked. But either way, yeah, that was horrible defense. Worst that I've seen this year. We're going to get into a game recap. But speaking of game recap, we've got to get into it right now. Game recap brought to you by Cleveland Ketchup. Go to clevelandketchup.com. Use the code BEARDED and save 10% off. It's a holiday season, man. You guys are going to need to get some nice chips. They have some delicious chips. They got some nice mustards and mayos and ketchups that, you want to dip stuff in.
Dude, I got the jalapeno mustard.
Is it good?
Dude.
It is the best. That's the only mustard I eat now with my sandwiches. And
I drink it. It's that good. Right along with my liquid death. Anyways, Chad, I got to send you some of this stuff. I got to
I'll
get some stuff and send you. Man, I'm not kidding you guys just because They are a sponsor of the show. This stuff is incredible. The mayonnaise, the Chipotle mayonnaise doesn't last here. That's why I'm not losing weight. But it's great. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks a lot, leaving ketchup. Diet ruiner. No, it's a really healthy, low calorie condiment, mustard. And it
Mustard.
sounds like they've got the jam for mustard.
All natural ingredients as well, so you don't have to worry about that
GMOs.
that
Mhm.
High
stadium
fructose,
out
no,
east field stuff.
no high,
There's so
no
much
high
trash.
fructose.
There is so much trash in condiments. It's friggin' unbelievable that there's all of these condiments that should be mostly like vinegar based and then flavored and salted, like mustard seeds or tomato paste, whatever you want, however you want to throw it out. And to look at the label of ketchups, mustards, barbecue sauces, like guys, find the stuff that has
The
real
least
ingredients and
amount.
less ingredients. Look at the back of like a Heinz ketchup bottle, and like you just shouldn't even see some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Everybody
make sense.
comment your favorite condiment. Maybe something will happen. We'll
Yes.
make something happen here soon.
So game recap. First we'll start off with Harold Fannin Jr. What a game. He had a first ever 100-yard receiving game and a touchdown. This dude cannot be tackled and he cannot be covered. And this is only his first year, and he's putting up some historic numbers that are insane. 619 total yards, franchise rookie record. Also has 59 catches, needs 7 more to break a long-standing record of 26 years set by Kevin Johnson of 66 for rookies. That's going to be a lot. I mean, that's a lot of
He's gonna get it.
yeah, he's
I
going to
mean,
get it.
barring something going crazy wrong, he's averaging like 8 targets and 5 catches a game. Is 4 games left. Like unless there's an injury, I can't imagine even if our offense regresses a little bit, he's not gonna get it. It's
Yeah,
like looking at the Miles stats. He's so on pace.
Yeah. I like this kid a lot. I think you're going to start seeing a little less in Njoku, to be honest. I think it's going to fade him away, to be honest. Unfortunately, we got a couple other younger guys in the tight end room that could fill that void as well.
Yeah, and somebody pointed out to me earlier, like I'm trying to remember who it was on our X was like, what if Harold Fannin outperformed David Njoku this year? Like, how would that affect him getting re-signed? And I
And
very openly said, I think we need 2 tight ends. If they're not going to re-sign David, they're going to be looking at another veteran. But I also like threw out the caveat, like, don't get your hopes up. Like rookie tight ends almost never, especially if they weren't picked in like the top 15 overall, they do not like blow up their rookie year. It's just a very difficult position to develop into. And I'll be damned, he's already like he's not just
killing it.
outshining Njoku as far as like production because Njoku is not having a great year. He's outshining most of
He's
the
your leading
NFL
receiver.
rookies in history at tight
Yeah.
end. Like you're looking at him producing like sure maybe he's not Brock Bowers, but like he's producing at rates that some of our best tight ends in the league today weren't able to do as rookies. So I don't know where his ceiling is, but coming from a school as small as Bowling Green, I know he had good games against bigger opponents, which is one of the reasons we all really liked him on the show. Is that when the going got tough, he just got a little tougher, and he played some of his best games against much better than MAC opponents. But come on, guys, like the thought in my head of like him being this explosive coming out of Bowling Green as a rookie, like right off the bat, and they don't even just throw him out as tight end. He catches passes there, blocks. He runs some wildcat. He comes in as a fullback sometimes for blocking at short yardage. Like this kid is doing so much more than I think a rookie should be capable of processing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's going to get even better. I would be interested to see them drafting a tight end later in the draft just to help with blocking schemes. Because I know this sounds like a fan take, but I would like to see him block less and catch more. Line
Well,
him up
that's
as
why they
more as a
brought
receiver.
that's why they
Well,
brought
they want him
Fannin
to
here.
be
He's a better blocker than
he's a
Njoku
good
for
blocker.
sure.
I think
Yeah.
too, the other thing is it opens up their options. So like I said, if they can get him for the right price, like sure, I would bring David back again. I just think him being such a good pass catcher allows them so many more options in the draft or free agency at tight end because they don't need to grab like somebody who's going to be their primary target at tight end. They can go
Yeah.
with somebody who's got a skill set that maybe other franchises aren't looking as much for, and that's blocking.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see his growth. He definitely is gonna get that rookie record. He probably shatter it. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
go far. So we're gonna see a couple of records here. Hopefully Miles and then his, and that's gonna be a great season for milestones, but a horrible season as far as record. But at least it's
Right, it's the
something we can lean
craziest
on.
thing. It's the
Yeah,
craziest thing that there's so many individual accolades to give out, this year, month by month, or, like, in the year total, and it's worth mentioning another one. He's not gonna get it, but he's also up for Rookie of the Week.
yeah, him and
Um,
Sanders.
yeah, he's not gonna get it because 'cause we'll get to it, but I'm pretty sure Sanders is a lock for that one.
So
But
always the quarterback gets it.
just the fact that he's in the rotation for Rookie of the Month and Offensive, Rookie of the Week, at this point is just incredible. So great job by him. We couldn't have asked much more than what we're seeing out of this kid.
One last thing, he's a third round pick, right?
Yeah, we picked
Yeah,
him
third round
67.
pick.
He's our real third round pick.
Yeah, that's good
I
stuff.
see what you
Good
did
stuff.
there. I see what you did there. I had shorter
Um,
expectations, but not going there.
Shorter expectation for the other third round. On to Q Junkins. Up and down our running back. And it's not all his fault, man. It kind of sucks to see him uh second half
Digress.
here.
I'll tell you why.
Regress. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you see
Go
the
ahead.
box stacked up with people, you run it up the middle still every time. That doesn't work. You adjust. The
Yeah.
box is stacked with 8 guys in there. You're gonna still run up the middle with them all blitzing right at you. Come on, come on.
It is, and
Good
it's worth being
evening.
mentioned. It's worth
Yeah.
being mentioned that the Browns, I heard, are third in the league in facing 8-man boxes. So only 2 other teams in the NFL face more 8-man boxes than the Browns, and um, and also that number has increased as the season has gone on, which is just crazy.
But here,
It
hear
would
me
be
out for once.
interesting to
Oh, sorry.
it would be interesting to see what happens now that Shedeur has thrown a couple deep balls and he has a couple weapons in Fannin and Bond. Because it would be
Yeah,
interesting to see how defense now defends them. Because the reason why they were able to do the box is because Dylan wasn't able to throw downfield. Now that
yeah,
now that Sanders has showed not only the ability to run, which should shock a lot of people, and the ability to make a big play, I think the
yeah.
defense is going to have to eventually respect that.
We joked about that a ton in the offseason where we're like, guys, when they say that he's not like an athletic runner, they kind of mean like he's not Lamar, he's not Jackson
Yeah.
Dart, he's not Jaden Daniels, but it doesn't mean the guy can't move at all. Even Baker Mayfield has run for first downs and touchdowns, guys. Like he is a professional athlete and a pretty good one. Like the idea that people are like, well, he can't run at all. It's like, no, it's not that he can't run at all. It's just he's not fast enough to like play the evade defenders game in the long term. Like he's gonna get caught more often than not. But there's a hole open. He's got great offensive awareness. He's got great ability to like move around the pocket. He can take off for a couple. Like we joked about that since summer when people were like, he's not athletic. Like, okay, he's not elitely athletic. He's still a professional
Athletic.
athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made some
This
plays even with his legs. He took some guys
Yeah.
off to tackle. They ripped his shirt off. He still ran. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you're
um,
I was
I
gonna
was just
say, I
gonna
think
say,
you're right, Angel, about at least about the part of like him opening the top. There's other factors, and Mike actually might have one, but I want to say that is one of the 2 biggest factors on why this is happening, and that is the one that I expect can change before the end of the season.
so my outlook on this is if excuse me, if the box is stacked, you see you're gonna run up the middle, you know you're gonna run up the middle. Why not call an audible, run up to the left or the right? Not only that, the screens work. So if the box is
Screens work
stacked,
great. Yeah.
screens are working phenomenal. So why not run to the left or right? You always run up the middle. Like make a change something.
There's
This
probably 2 reasons for that. One, they keep changing quarterbacks every 4 to 5 weeks,
Yeah.
so it's hard to like give the quarterback a lot of ability to make changes, and the coach's mic is off by the time they're up to the line. So that's probably part of it. The other part is your line stinks. If you're going to try to run laterally, like you're still not going to have the blockers able to get out there. These guys where you had Teller and Batonio, which were two of the best pulling guards in the league, and Conklin, who was one of the most athletic tackles in the entire league. Like those guys just can't move like they used to after all these injuries, the age. It's just they're not the same guy. So trying to be like that kind of like a wide scheme, the wide nine or the zone blocking that they used to use is not on the table like it used to be. But I do think a lot of it is just you don't have the quarterback to recognize those things yet. You went from Flacco, who probably could have recognized it really well in the first month, but then was out, to two rookies who are just learning how to read these defenses.
Yeah.
In the future, I'd expect both of them should be able to look at that, Mike, like you said. But the other thing is you just can't run away from the defense all the time. Like they just need to play better in the line and they need to win enough to make a
They
hole.
have to.
While
Yeah.
we're
And I agree, the holes need to be made, and the offensive line is struggling with doing that. But if the box is stacked, it's time to adjust, make a
but
play
it's
happen.
stacked 40% of the time. So like
Yeah,
you just
Right.
can't only run outside. Like you gotta if it's if it's 3rd and 3, you're not gonna go laterally. You're gonna try to take your big body back and get into the hole.
Yeah, we're
With big
gonna
body, I wouldn't
yeah.
I wouldn't say big body for Samson. He's not a big. He's so. It's weird. It's like
He's
he's a
50.
skinny. Like
Well,
I don't. I
he's
like the kid.
tiny. Yeah, he's tiny, but Judkins is your big bodied back,
Yeah.
and he's
Right.
also just not successful against an 8-man box.
So weeks 2 to 5, Junkins averaged 4.8 yards a carry, 4 yards yards at the contact, and his explosive plays were at 8.3%. Week 6 to last week, it's falling significantly to 3.1 yards per carry, which is 42nd in the NFL, and his yards at the contact is 2.75 yards at the contact, which is ranked 27. And his explosive plays went down to like 3.2. So they adjusted. The NFL adjusted. They realized the only way this team is going to beat us after week 5 is Junkins is going to kill us. Let's just stack the box. And until then, we'll see what's going to happen. I think
And
I think that's
Shedeur.
going to
Complain
change
about
a lot
Dylan.
this week because
The
I
biggest
think it's going to change a
complaint
lot because hold on one sec. It's going to change a lot because now you see that Shedeur can throw.
Yeah.
Especially the deep ball. It could happen. There's a possibility for a big play to happen there, and I think teams are going to have to start being a little more lenient, just focusing on the run game because it's not going to be just runs anymore. I hope.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to point out is you hope, but if you're the Bears and you watched all 3 game films of Sanders and the team that he just beat is the Titans, maybe you still go, well, they lost that game to the Titans. Why don't we just continue to stack the box
Continue
and
it.
stop Judkins and make Sanders beat us? Like that's still a very likely possibility. The only other thing I was going to say before we move on from the Judkins and running back topic is so Samson had a pretty good game, and they're finding ways to use him. I agree with Mike. Probably not Metcalf up the middle, but he did find a way to be dynamic. And since Tommy Reese has come in with play calling,
Yeah.
and especially since Sanders has taken over, I do find they are trying to get him more involved. But on the Judkins topic, since he's just going to remain running back number 1 and our main guy, I think it's worth noting that his average time for contact during that span that you talked about, Angel, where like he's had a decrease in his yards after contact and his
Yeah.
total yards per carry. His average time to contact through that period has been half a yard, 0.5 yards.
Yeah.
So
They're going right behind it. Right.
which makes him
Yeah.
29th in the league at the Browns are 29th in the league at average time for contact, which what that tells me is when he used to break tackles after contact, maybe he was hitting a linebacker and could break into the open field. Now, when he's breaking his first tackle, it's definitely a defensive lineman. He's still at the line of scrimmage. So even if he breaks it, now everything can get congested and they can stop him because there's a pile. Whereas if he can get past that first level, I think we'll see
Mhm.
exactly what we used to see from him. And that's more yards after contact.
Yeah, offensive line struggling. 41.8 pressure rate on dropbacks, which is second worst in NFL. 0.41 yards before contact. 0.41, which is what you talked
It's
about.
it's also worth
Worst,
mentioning that even with the drop, the Browns are 29th in the league at allowing early contact, and he's still ninth in the league though at yards after contact.
which is
So
insane.
we are one of the worst at allowing him to get hit too early. He's still top
Getting
10
there.
at yards after contact, even with him getting hit so early, which is why I'm not panicking about the fact that he's been putting up 25, 30 yards. What also helps us is he made a giant play in the passing game, which tells you that he's much more dynamic than he might have been predicted to be out of Ohio State. And when he can't get it done rushing, they're
Yeah.
finding a way to include him in the passing game.
Yeah. And last one, 18.8 quick pressure rate within 2.5 seconds, which is sixth worst in the NFL, which when we get into the Sanders talk, by the way, quick clips from Buffalo, Colorado. We have not talked about Sanders yet. Chad has not hated on Sanders yet, nor he did say good things. So I'm sure you'll hear Chad's opinion coming up here soon. I know you guys are intensely waiting on what Chad thinks of Shedeur's performance. We're going to get there soon enough. We're going to jump right quick into the receivers. You got Judy, touchdown. Him and Sanders made up in the end zone. They hugged each other and whispered in each other's ear.
Man, that dude, your first touchdown in week 14, get the hell out of here, bro. You do that stupid ass flip in the end zone. You look like an idiot. Then somebody followed by that threw a snowball at him. I wish it blasted him right in his eye. Dude,
No, you
screw
don't
Like
that.
the first thing I noticed on the
He
replay was like, man,
fumbled- he
somebody launched a
fumbled-
snowball right
He
at him.
fumbled last week. Listen, he fumbled last week. And then you're looking behind you because you know you fumbled last week because you're a weak individual. You're looking behind you to make sure you can do your stupid somersault. I wish he fumbled that and went out in the end zone, touchback, ball, turnover.
Yeah.
Dude, screw
Yeah, I mean,
Jerry
he
Judy, man. I'm sorry.
shout out to Jerry Judy. Listen, I know fans hate him. Not like his performance right now, but I mean, I know I was on record before I said I felt bad for the guy. I feel bad in the aspect that he wants to be great, and the fact that the Browns have had consistent quarterback play is not making him great. I feel for that, but at the same time, I get why people say, "Well, he's had opportunities to catch the ball, and at times he drops it." So that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
counters
part
my
of the problem.
argument.
Yeah, he has made it tough on himself because when they
Yeah.
have made a play to him,
Correct.
he's dropped too many. And like I said, I've said this 1,000 times, but he led the league in drops. He leads the league in drops this year. He also led the league in drops last year. We just didn't care because he
Yeah.
was actually productive. This year,
He has
he
10.
just isn't getting it done. If he had a play like he had on Sunday each week, we'd be like, okay, he drops a few, but he's balling out otherwise. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
But one thing I'll give him, like, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give him credit for this because I didn't love the way he went about it. But we had it mentioned later. I'll just bring it up now. Chase Daniels did attribute some of the improved chemistry between Sanders and Judy, and some of Sanders' decisiveness in releasing the ball without like the play being fully developed to that interaction. And he's like, it's not just like Jerry Judy yelled at him and now it's like different. It's that they just reiterated that sometimes like veterans, even when it's your quarterback, gotta like really just lay a message. And then throughout that week, there's kind of like this mutual respect where they can go back and forth and talk at it and like work it out. But there was no doubt that he and Judy had a better chemistry this week and that Sanders was more willing to throw the ball in those scenarios where like these guys are telling him like we'll be open on this, hit it. And so I just thought it was interesting that Chase Daniels, like a former quarterback, was like, I think that interaction actually helped lead to some increased success this week because it really like almost gives them the go of like rip it. You can rip it.
I'll tell you right now,
Trust me.
Sanders handled that a lot better than I did because I would have been like, hey, bro, I'm a rookie. You're a veteran. Hey, bro, somebody get this dude some stickums and tell him to sit his ass down.
Yeah, and a testament to Sanders because like that could
Yeah,
have went
maturity.
sour, and instead he took that criticism, probably earned some respect by handling it so calmly, and they worked on being better, and that's huge, huge for Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
and for Jerry Jeudy, for Christ's sake, who needs more than anything to
to
be
put
able
up
to
a
put
good
his
game.
money where his mouth is.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what a lot of positivity is coming from me to Sanders is because his ability to show leadership in that aspect and not react emotionally, but
Mhm.
figure out a way to fix the issue. And now he trusts Judy. So now we're going to see growth between those two from that
Yeah.
point forward. And credit to Daniels for bringing that up because that's a very good perspective. Very good
Yeah,
perspective.
and it was good to hear from a guy like that who's, like, been in so many of these rooms and has seen these guys go at it. He said, "This is just a thing that happens, and you could take it the wrong way or you could take it the right way, basically." So,
All right, I
Yeah.
pulled that up.
Yeah. They
Uh,
whispering sweet nothings in each other's ear. And that's good. They made up.
yeah, he's like, bro,
No,
thank you so much
and
for
all
catching the
joking
ball.
aside, publicly, I think this is a good move because Judy publicly offended him, and then Sanders publicly made up with him. So in retrospect, they're showing the fans, look, we're good, we're getting along, we're together, let's move on. But they
and
saved
honestly, I want
themselves.
you to be I want you to be better in a lot of aspects. I don't need Judy to be my leader. I need Sanders to be my leader. So I don't
100%.
mind if these receivers are divas. I don't mind if receivers freak out on quarterbacks on the sideline. I care that the quarterback can handle that situation. And I would say there's a lot of people that would have questioned whether he, as a young guy, could have or not, and he handled it as good as anybody can handle it. He took it. He made the entire situation better this week, and so just another check on your box of like, can this guy handle everything it takes to be an NFL quarterback?
Yeah.
You got a whole checklist, and that's a big one.
All right, one more receiver we want to get into. Tillman, he went down again with a hard hit, most likely concussion, right? Did they confirm that? I didn't get to read anything
Yeah,
about that.
he's out on concussion
He's
protocol.
done concussion. Man, it's weird because you see him make plays and you think, man, that's what we want to see, and then this happens. Like he's just
The dude just can't catch
and
a break, and I said,
because
I'd love to call him injury prone, but everybody gets injured in that kinda hit, like, that was a
yeah, he
train
was
wreck.
hard. Yeah, you can tell right
So,
away with the way his body froze. That was not good.
it's just a bummer. I know somebody in the comments already made fun of PFF, but he was one of the higher scoring guys on the team before he went out this week, and if you look at his trends over the last, like, 2 years, when he's
It's
out
there.
there, he is consistently one of the
Yes.
better graded people, and if you look at just his production, he's got good yards per
Reception.
catch, he's got really good,
Yeah.
catch rate per target, and he's just really productive, but he's in such chunks because he just cannot stay on the field, and it's just all different stuff that takes him out. The nervous thing is he had that terrible concussion last year, and now he's out of concussion, which
Yeah.
normally I can say he'll miss the next game and then he'll be back. But after
Mm.
last year, like who knows? He was out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into it. We're gonna get into what everyone's in the chat for. All right, we're about to get into Sanders' performance. We saved the best for last, guys. Okay, so comment below right now. Are you excited for Sanders to finish out the season? What do you think his performance is going to be like? How many wins he's going to do? And I have a question for you guys, even in the chat. If he wins some games, does that save Kevin's job? And do you
Uh,
want Kevin's job to be saved? That's
well, let
I
me
another
got to
hear.
be
question,
honest.
right?
I think Kevin. I think it has nothing to do with Kevin. I think if if Sanders does really well and they start winning games, the people that want Kevin fired will say, "Fire him because he should have had him out earlier." And the
Yeah,
people that
that's the
don't want
argument.
him fired are gonna say, "Yeah, this worked out exactly had they hoped for
Exactly like
him." So,
Kevin
like,
planned it.
it just depends on which side you're on. I don't believe this will change anyone's mind either direction.
Listen, you gave him last year because of injury on the field. The team was poor this year. Injuries are starting to pile up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're in another quarterback situation where you really don't know who QB1 is. So that's about the only faith I would give him. But I'm over it now. I think it's time to move on from being so predictable in every game. It seems we win games we shouldn't, and we lose games we should win.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we lost this game, not because of Kevin, but we'll go into that a little bit later. Either
We'll
way,
see.
Sanders, well, depending on who you ask, you're right. Depending
Yep.
on who you ask,
Yep.
you're 100% right. He went 23 for 42, 364 yards, one interception, 3 touchdowns thrown, and he led the team in rushing yards with 29 and a touchdown rushing. Basically, Sanders was responsible for every single point we scored, literally. He either threw or ran it in. Sanders did very, very well. I was on record in the beginning to say he played better than I thought. I thought he was going to play better than he did last week, but he exceeded better. He played better than better, if that makes sense, in my opinion. How about you guys?
I think it's way better. I definitely am looking forward to seeing this kid play throughout the rest of the year with tougher defenses coming up. My gripe that everybody hates is I'll say it again and I'll live on this mound for the rest of my life. It was the Titans, guys. It was the Titans with the worst pass defense. Yes, it was. It was the same thing, exact same thing with the Raiders. I hope this kid dominates. I really
It's
do, no
different
matter
than
who
the
we're playing.
Raiders.
No, it's not much. I hope this kid dominates because
Not
one, I don't want
much.
to
He
go
scored 3 touchdowns. He
I-
threw 3 touchdowns and ran 1. He scored more than 8 points. So what do you mean?
against what?
Against
What's their defense ranked?
their pass defense ranked right in the middle, 18.
I I'm pretty sure they're 29th.
No,
I think the
overall defense is
29th
29.
total defense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Overall
total
29th.
defense.
Well, that day their pass defense was
Also,
off.
he did this also without a running game. Hence the reason why he led in rushing. He also did this against a defensive line that was rushing him. I think I should have pulled up set.
You're good.
Rushing
Hold on.
ahead of time. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to finish up real quick. I do want this kid to succeed.
Me too.
I want to see nothing but good things from him. I do not want to do the quarterback controversy again next year. We did it this year, and I am how many shows do we have about just quarterbacks this year, guys?
5,000.
And one.
Yeah, it felt like it at least.
I want this kid to succeed, and he's showing a massive amount of improvement every week. And I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this week against Bears, it's a little bit different, and we're going to go through that on a Saturday show as well. So
yeah. So Titans pressured Sanders 63% of his dropbacks. So more than half. That was most in the season. A highest pressure rate of any defense in a game for the season. And he still was able to make plays in the pocket, outside the pocket. He used his legs. He made things happen. He placed balls where they needed to be placed. He made one mistake on the interception, should be a check down, but that's a rookie mistake. He'll learn from that. And he seems to always get better every week. He's no longer really running back as much. He's not taking sacks. He's only sacked twice. His EPA went from negative 22 to negative 18. So he's improving every metric. I understand you say it's the Tennessee Titans, but my argument is this. If he would have came out and only scored 8 points against that defense, people would say, hey, the Tennessee Titans defense sucked, and he still didn't do anything. He did exceedingly abundantly what he should have done against a defense that he should have done exceedingly abundantly with. So with that being said, he did exactly what he should have done, and that should be credited to him despite the opponent he was playing. Right?
Chad, go ahead and hit something. I want to. Could I add? You know what? I'm going to add one more part. I'm going to add one more thing.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So I think at what you just said, basically, like he was pressured a very high amount. We know our line has not been handling that great. I'll say pretty shocking leap from me. Like I'm with you, Angel. I thought he'd be better this week. And I'm a big believer. Like the Titans are not a devastating team to have to beat. To give a little bit more credit, though, I thought one of the reasons the Titans would be an easier opponent is not only are they 29th overall ranked defense, but the offense I thought would be so bad against our defense. I thought Sanders was going to have like a Miami level of advantage. And by that, I mean our defense dominated Miami so much. And you could say the same for Las Vegas, that it gave the offense increased opportunities, better field position. And that's not what we saw. I would say these numbers for Sanders are more pure than what we could get out of his win in Las Vegas, even though we lost, or our win in um, against Miami, because I think he he didn't have some kind of incredible field position because our defense set him up for success constantly. In fact, the opposite. Our defense
Yeah.
fell short throughout most of this game and put us in pretty difficult situations. So I would say outside of the numbers, like this is a more pure look at what he actually was able to do. You mentioned he was under pressure a lot. His numbers under pressure were not great
Yeah, no.
numerically. He went 11 for 26. So,
Mhm.
he threw well under 50%. The one thing you could say opposite, though, if you watch the film, is despite misses, out of that 11 for 26, several of those plays were so big that if he can keep that up consistently, teams will back off of giving pressure, because if you pressure a guy and he makes you pay, then you start thinking about just rushing for and dropping coverage, because you don't care if you cut his passes down to 50% by rushing if 3 of them go for touchdowns. Like that,
Yeah.
you cancels itself out. So, good job on him. There's still a lot to work on. He didn't do great under play action, and I think that is just all rookies. The processing and play action is so hard that that's not gonna come till later. So yeah, a mixed bag, but overall, just such a giant leap compared to what we've seen. I think this performance in the loss is so much better than his performance in the win.
Yeah.
And I think that for a Browns fan who knows this season is over and we're just looking at the future, that is the best case scenario. Is like you didn't change your draft status at all. Wins are going to be important to keep the morale of this team up and the veterans from not wanting to just burst. But win or lose, it's starting to get to the point where it's like, our young players who are sticking around, how good are they? And the most important one is Sanders.
Yeah,
There's no kind of
100%
getting around
Sanders.
that.
Yeah. He's the only quarterback to throw multiple touchdown passes of 15 yards or more this season, despite having fewer than half the pass attempts than Dylan with 74 and Joe Flacco with 185. 4 completions for 50 plus yards in his first 3 career starts joins Aaron Rodgers as the only rookie to do that since 2000. 364 passing yards, first Brown to hit 300 yards in a season, and only ninth 300-yard passer the last 4 years for Cleveland. Third most passing yard by a Brown rookie quarterback in the franchise history. You know who he tied? Brandon Whedon. Remember him? So overall,
This
it's a
is why
great.
you end your like those cuts early, so so it's not as depressing.
Is it? Yeah, it's Brandon Whedon. So he's improved. He improved, and that's what I want. Like Chicago's gonna be a little tougher defense. They lead the league in turnovers. They get a lot of interceptions. So we're gonna see how he does there, and we're gonna take this week by week. We're gonna judge fairly. I want the kid to succeed. Mike wants the kid to succeed. Chad, right? Let them know that you want them to succeed.
Chad, come on, Eclipse is here,
Everyone
man.
Guys,
thinks you hate him,
I
but
have said
I
1,000 times,
agree.
the absolute best thing that could ever happen to the Browns, including this team, the fans, their coaches, their general manager, is they came out of
Yes.
this draft with the franchise quarterback with the 5th round pick and their backup with the 2nd, 3rd round pick, because they look like geniuses in the front office. If that's the case, they take all the pressure off of having to trade 2 firsts or a first and a second to get a quarterback next year. They get to rebuild they forward this, we'll call it rebuild, like a full year or probably 2 in advance
Yeah.
if Sanders becomes the starting quarterback. It was since April, the best case scenario for this team is Sanders absolutely locks himself in as a franchise quarterback by the end of this year. It's just we got 4 more games to see if
4
that's
more
the case.
games. Yeah, and if he is the guy, if they go in next year comfortable with him, comfortable enough to want to see more, you imagine what they can do with the 3 to 5th pick. exactly what they do this year. Trade back a little bit, get the guy you wanted, most likely a receiver. You still getting the receiver you want. You can trade back and get another number one next year. Just copy and paste what they did in the draft this year, and you can collect talent, first round talent that way. That's why personally I want Sanders to succeed because I'm like Mike. I'm tired of this cycleness of quarterbacks going over and over again. And I personally like Sanders. I like Sanders because he speaks of his faith. I'm attracted to it. I like Sanders because he's a good kid. He's tough. I like Sanders overall. And so I'm hoping
He will
this kid,
never be accused of some heinous crime in
Yeah,
any situation. I don't
if
believe he's in any way in danger of being like a social like malfeasance. He's the right guy to root for, and we've been rooting for him the whole time. The difference was, and it's worth bringing up now that he was finally good. It's okay to say that his first 2 games weren't very good. Like it, guys, is now that he's had a game that actually was really good, like record-breakingly good, is it now like okay to say the first 2 weren't very good?
yeah,
They just weren't great performances, and we know why, and they weren't against, like, the most devastating defenses in the league. They just weren't good. He sucked against the Ravens, but that's easy to explain. He just got thrown in at halftime, like, on a whim, no game plan for him, no practice reps. The next week, he didn't play very good against the Raiders, but we won anyway, so it was like, okay, we'll take the W, but I would feel better about a W if it was led by our offense. And then the next week against a very depleted Niners team, he really struggled to find open receivers. And, but we're not, it doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't matter that a guy has a bad game or 2 early. A lot of the best quarterbacks in the league weren't even on the field yet at this point in their rookie year. Mahomes
yeah.
wasn't, Jordan Love wasn't. There's just a pile of guys. You can go through the list. There's tons of guys that weren't even on the field by the beginning of December of their rookie year. And so in that aspect, like he's in early and these are his first games regardless of the month. So I think that's where I've had a problem with like not Sanders but Sanders fans is it's been so hard to be honest about him when he struggled because everybody would blow you up. I think hopefully now that people see like an actual great performance from him, they can take a breath and go like, "Oh, this performance was awesome." Like those last ones, he's evolved from that because that's
well,
what we're looking for.
worst case scenario, we could be like the Indianapolis Colts and pick up 45-year-old Philip Rivers next year.
Grandpa.
What a situation they're in. That sucks so
That's
bad.
to Quick Clip's comment, he says, with all due respect, you guys don't understand. He is driven, passionate. No, we understand. We understand. Matter of fact, I was going to bring that up. His passion, his leadership went down 31-17 with 6 minutes and 21 seconds to go. 7
Yeah,
plays,
I
53
agree.
yards in a minute and 50 seconds and scrambles 7 yards to make a touchdown, to make it 31-23 because they decide. We'll talk about that later.
I'm going to
Next
ask
possession.
Quick Clips a question really quick. Are you just a Shedeur fan or are you a Cleveland fan? Because if you're a
He's a
Cleveland
Shedeur.
fan, you would understand what goes into this city's quarterback room every single year. So you got to understand the
Disappointment.
hesitation.
Yeah. Quick Clip. So as a Browns fan, Mike, that's a perfect thing. The reason why we're skeptical is because we were born this way. We're born to be skeptical because we're always hurt. Listen, Baker, ups and downs, gets traded. Now he's in Tampa playing well. We if trust us. We want Shedeur to be the man.
The other thing the reason I say things like Shedeur had a great game. And so the games before that, like this is more important than the 49ers game, more important than the Raiders game because we're moving towards something. But the reason I'm also like a little step back at like there's 4 games left, we don't have to make any declarations yet is because if you're from Cleveland, you watch somebody like Colt McCoy come out and have a couple good games his rookie year to the point where the Browns could say like, "Oh, we're going to pass on a guy in the first round the next year, only to come out and win 3 games the next year because that he really wasn't the guy." So I don't need to see 1 good performance. I don't need to see 3 good performances. What I need to see is this list of check boxes for a franchise quarterback, and he doesn't have to have hit them all I just need to see him progressing towards them. And this game checked off a lot of boxes, but nothing matters unless he can continue to do it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I've seen Brandon Whedon have a good game. I saw Johnny Manziel have a good game. I've seen
Did he
terrible
have a good
quarterbacks have
game?
a
I
good
remember
game.
Johnny having a good
So
game.
that's
I don't
why
remember
people in
Johnny.
Cleveland who have followed Cleveland sports for 20 years or
Yeah.
more are immediately going to say, "Okay, I saw it. Show me again," because we've seen some of these guys bust out a great game, and then they can't keep it up, and that's a problem.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit
I'll say
Dorian's
that.
comment really quick. I'm sorry. The
Yeah,
Browns
go
should
ahead.
be
No, you go.
embarrassed at how they handled this whole situation. No, they shouldn't, because what you did is you drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. You're not going to put a 5th rounder in before you start a 3rd rounder. That would be handled horribly. Obviously, they saw something in camp, and Dylan Gabriel could have shit the bed and looked horrible at camp, but you're not going to still do that. People are going to want
Yeah.
to see the number 3 before your number 5. And yes, it made him look stupid and foolish because now Shedeur Sanders is out here blowing it up. Blowing it up.
I mean,
And then
that's
next
all
week,
with the assumption that's all with the assumption that if
Yeah.
you had thrown Shedeur out earlier,
We don't
he
we
would
don't
have
know.
continued to be this good,
Mm.
and we just don't know that.
Yeah. And I think Shedeur said it best, like, it's fate. Like, it's just the way it meant to happen. Like, I don't look at it that way because as a person that believes in purposeful driven whatever, I think it was just this is just the way it should have happened. And it's great. If it continues down this pattern, it's great. Also, too, I'll say this and then we can move on to the defense. I mean to a video. Um, the fact that he came down twice, back-to-back drives, and put you in contention to win that game, or at worst case, tie that game, showed me a lot that of who he is as a player. And that excited me more than anything I've seen up to this point as him as a quarterback. That he took the team on his back and drove down the field twice, made plays in and out of the pocket. That kind of made me I said after the game, even at their loss, I told my wife, I said, I think the Browns should just roll with him next year. I'm that set on 100% in on Sanders. You go in Sanders, draft some talent around him because he's doing this with a horrible line and a number 2 wide receiver that's number 1. Fannon's technically the number 1 wide receiver, needs a tight end. You get talent around him, he's just going to get better. That's just going to be my take,
Yeah,
and that's the take
I
I'm going to
agree.
lean on from this point forward.
yeah, and it's I mean, yeah, I'll put it out there one of these times. Like I've mentioned it a few times. Like there's a quarterback checklist for me about like a franchise quarterback, and we've had these discussions like what makes a wide receiver 1, what makes this, what makes that, and for me, the most difficult one is franchise quarterback, and uh, one of the biggest check boxes you can have for me, and it's one of the things that even the last guy that I thought was our franchise quarterback didn't seem to hit early in Cleveland, and that's being unfazed by pressure. And so we
Yep.
know Sanders is under about as much pressure as anyone in the league because he's so famous. That's not what I mean, though. What I more mean is we were down several scores, and it's a bad team, and most people don't believe you're coming back. I already mentioned he hit the check boxes of handling like Jerry Judy, a diva wide receiver, like blowing up at him as well as could be. The second check box on a long list of checks is what you said is he he was totally unfazed by that pressure. In fact, he looked like he's almost craving that pressure, where it's like he was up and down throughout that game, had some positives, had some negatives. When things got tense in the 4th quarter, your ability to just Tom Brady it out of your mind and just doesn't matter what the clock says, doesn't matter what, the score is, like, I'm just gonna go out and execute is huge, guys. Like, that is, like, an it factor that
Yeah.
you can't see in any draft process. You probably don't see it even in college because the way the game is so different. You play with so much more talent sometimes on some of these teams, but it is one of the top intangibles that you just can't really write out until you see it, and it's just that calmness under pressure and that ability to execute under, like, extreme stress.
I feel like
Yeah.
the YouTube chat and Facebook chat are listening to two different streams, and we're saying the same thing. That's what
I
was
want to
so
clear
confused.
something up right now on the show for everybody watching. I don't give a shit what color the kid is. I want him to play football. That's all that matters to me. I don't care at all. Nobody on the show does. If you
Man, am
can
I
play
not keeping up with
football,
the chat? Am I not keeping up with the chat close enough?
no, you're not.
Yeah,
If you
and
can play football,
what's crazy
doesn't
is
matter.
I literally said I'm going to want this kid to start next year. I'm leaning in on him to be the starter next year. And I was just told my checklist includes him being white. That's why I think YouTube is hearing something different than Facebook, because Facebook comes back and says, "Yeah, guys, we agree." Then YouTube is saying hearing something totally different. They must be on the delay. I
So
don't know.
what Quick Clips is referring to is this: a customer gave me this. One side says Shedeur the Shredder Sanders, and the other side Shedeur the Shitter Sanders. And he's right. It's been on this side for most of
It
his playing time, for sure.
Yeah, that's it's definitely on that side this week. He was incredible. I mean, guys, this is a record-breaking performance for a rookie. Like, I know some of the records were Browns records, and we pretend like those aren't important because we've had crappy quarterbacks, but Baker Mayfield had a pretty friggin' great rookie year here, and so breaking rookie records here does count for something because we've
Guys,
had
hold on. My
one
hat's
great
white.
rookie
I gotta
recently.
change it real quick.
So yeah, we're gonna move on to the defense, because I think that's more of a concern that no one is talking about. The
Hold on, we gotta
defense.
hit that clip. We gotta hit that clip.
Yeah, hit that clip, Mike. We're gonna talk about this clip real quick.
They
from Club
still
Shay
have
Shay.
an issue with that. That looks like it might be promising. They still have an issue with that. So it looks like what they're trying to do, based on some of the things that we've seen, some of the things that we've heard come out of that locker room or that organization in general, they still don't think the person that is at the helm right now is the answer. They don't.
Yeah. I mean, and I really hate to feel this way, but a part of me is like, yeah, we're going to let him start the rest of the season. Oh, Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. If I'm Shedeur, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I already showed y'all what I can do. Put Dylan in there.
Nah, you
Let's
know,
see
matter
what
of
he
fact,
can do.
nah, I want him to play against the Bears. I want him to play against the Bills. I want him to play against the Steelers. 'Cause that looks like it might be promising. They still have an issue with that. So it looks like what they're trying to do, based on some of the things that we've seen, some of the things that we've heard come out of that locker room or that organization in general, they still don't think the person that is at the helm right now is the answer.
I think he's the answer.
I don't understand Shannon's perspective, because like 3 weeks ago they said they don't want him to start, and then when he starts, they said he's sabotaging him because he's starting where he's starting in the position of games that he's playing. Like, what what do you want? You want him not to play
I
the
felt
rest of
like
the year so you can complain about that
yeah,
too?
so
Like, you're not playing
first
him.
of all, he comes out and he says something like, "If I was Shedeur, I would tell him like, no thanks." First of all, I don't know if
Should,
you've ever seen Shedeur.
yeah, he's not
He's
gonna do that.
never saying that. He's
Yeah.
saying, "I want to be out there now." And guys, I've seen Shannon Sharp around a football team. Shannon Sharp was never saying like, "I'm good. I'm not going out there." Shannon was going out there. Shedeur's going out there, and I felt like Ocho shut that down immediately. He's like, "No, I want him out there. I want him to show he can shine against the best position." All I can take from that is Shannon saying like, "Oh, he's got to go up against hard teams now, so like that's not what I want him in for." Like, what are you talking about? If you believe in this kid, you absolutely want him out there against the Bears, the Steelers, and the Bills, so he can show you that this isn't some fluke game against just the Titans, or like he's got to go out there and like, if you believe he could shine, I cannot imagine how you can have the mindset of like, I don't want him out there anymore. Like, I've shown what I can do. Like, no, you haven't. He's one good game, and now he's got the chance to do 4 more in a row and end with 5 good games. Like, man, you can't take that guy out.
Yeah,
And if you're a
and yeah,
competitor, you're never coming out.
and he's playing for. I don't know if you guys heard the conversation between him and Cam Moore last after the game when they did the jersey swap. Cam was like, "What are you doing in the off season?" And Shedeur already said, he's like, "Dude, we're in 2 different situations." He's like, You got your starting job. You're their franchise. You're good. He's like, I'm still working for it. So he's focused. He's not gonna go out there and play. He's been gnawing, biting, wanting to get out there. Now that he's there, he's gonna make every opportunity of it. That's why
Mhm.
I'm encouraged by what he did against
Yeah, he's gonna
Tennessee the last 2 drives. He's motivated and he's a leader. The team, there's just something about Shedeur. And I've heard people say this, and I was the type of I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. Well, whatever. But there's something about him that the team wants to play. And we had Eric Metcalf on, and he said the same thing about Bernie. He said, I won't catch a pass up the middle unless it was from Bernie. I think the
Mhm.
team has that same type of sentiment toward Shador, that they would do anything for this kid to succeed, even if it's catching a ball up the middle and getting hurt.
Not only that, this is the most competitive quarterback we've seen since Baker Mayfield. Hands down, in my opinion,
100%.
easy.
Yeah, that's a good take. All right. We do
Yeah.
have another part
Yeah,
of
yeah.
to get to. We have a defense. A defense, even though we forgot that the defense even existed
Yeah,
because they
I
didn't
almost
show
want
up.
to ignore the defense this week because yeah, this will be the one week I want to talk the least about the defense because what a disappointment that was.
Yeah, so the defense gave
Here,
up
you guys
30.
want the defense sound?
Yeah,
I got the defense for you. Hold on. Where did it go? Here it is.
toilet song. Yeah, that's it. Turn down your headphones if you're listening because that was loud. Either way, um,
Well, not on
that's
my
how
end.
loud the crash was in Huntington Bank Field when you had a rookie quarterback drive down the field and went up 7-0. By the way, that was the first time that the Tennessee Titans on their opening drive scored any points on any team all year on their opening drive. Was on the top 5 defense. They gashed you. This guy named Tony Pollard came in and gashed you for 162 yards and could have been 200 if it wasn't for a penalty because he ran 40 yards. They had to come back. 25 carries, had 3 touchdowns on you. And this is the coach that the people want to replace Kevin with. This is insane that we and everyone's ignoring it. They're like, "Oh no, it's the 2 calls and at the goal line, and they should have put Shedeur in, or they should have." The issue is you scored 29 points for the first time, well, second time all year, and you still lost because your defense gave up. Your top 5 defense gave up 31 points to the worst team in the league, and yet we're too focused on our head coach and 2 questionable play calls at the goal line that they shouldn't even been in. It's insane to me that we are not crapping on our defense. Well, some of us aren't crapping on our defense right now and not expecting better from them because whenever it matters the most, they crap the bed every time. Hence, Houston game in the playoffs, they crap the bed. And the fact that people want Jim Schwartz to be a head coach and he shows up like this, they gashed you in between the tackles. There might have been
By the
reasons
way,
for it.
it's worth
Insane.
bringing up just on that side note. It's worth bringing up. Jim Schwartz head coaching record is like 31-50 or something like that. So for all these people that are like, you gotta fire Kevin because it's a results-based business and he's whatever, he has a 42% win percentage. You're looking at a guy that was 30-50. He almost lost like not quite twice as many games as he won. Guys,
Yeah.
that's that's awful. Like that some of the guys I also have heard another one worth bringing up is I've heard a ton of people this week suggest you should fire Kevin and you should promote Tommy Reese to head coach. So you're taking a
Mm.
first-time coordinator on an offense that no one has been happy with this entire year, and that's another choice that you guys have for head coach. Do we just hate Kevin at this point so much that we're like, put in anybody that has
Anyone.
no business being there
Put Mike in
in
there.
that seat? Like,
Yeah, who's calling the plays right now?
yeah, at least if you're gonna say like fire Kevin, like and finish that sentence with a good coaching prospect, please. Like, I don't mind if you're like, we've said over and over, like, if you're not on board with Kevin at this point, like, sure, the record for the last 2 years justifies him being let go, but at least come in with a much better option to replace him, not all the other guys that you're unhappy with this year, and stop giving us options of guys who last coached in like 2005. Like, neither of those are legitimate. coaching options. Please just
I mean, they could be, but we're not going to know until it happens. Sam, save that for Saturday. We'll bring that up all Saturday.
Yeah. So I think the defense deserves more credit for the loss than is given to them.
guys,
Miles gets
the
a sack.
Titans are 29th in the league in total
I know.
scoring at 15 or 31st. 31st in the league at scoring at 15
They
and a half
doubled it
points a
on you.
game. They score 15 points a game and you gave up over 30. And people are like, yeah, this game is all because of one botched 2-point conversion. Or that's worth 2 points and you shouldn't have given up the extra 15. They give up 15 points a week not playing the Browns defense. They were playing the Browns defense. They were on the road and you allowed them to score over 30, mostly on the ground. They averaged 240 yards a week. They almost had that just rushing against us without even having to throw the ball. That's
Yeah.
awful.
I'm not going to lie. Tony Pollard hooked me up, though, on my fantasy team this week.
I can't believe you
started
played
him.
him
I
against the
did.
Browns defense.
Well, he had 60 yards prior to that. The week prior to that, he had 6 rushes for 60 yards. He's averaging 10 yards a carry. And I played him still because I had the guy from, what is his name? Chicago, I think. He was, or no, I'm sorry. I had McCaffrey, and he was out. They bye week. So I had to.
Well,
Yeah.
that should have shot
It
you in the
worked.
foot, but luckily the Browns defense took you up with their
Helped you.
absolute worst performance of the year.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I'd feel very different if the Browns just laid an egg against the Packers, or like if the Bills are coming to town. If they find a way to shred you, it's like, okay, guys, that's like one of the elite offenses in the league. You got shredded by the 31st best offense in the league,
Dude,
and somehow nobody is talking about it.
what I want to see
like
is Shedeur put
side note.
30. I want to see Shedeur put 30 on the Bills. Oh my God. That would be.
We'll see, man. Miles Garrett grabs another sack. He's got 20. He's 2.5 away from 3 away from the record, getting the record, sorry. D-line had a rough day. That's why Tony was able to run up the middle, creases. I mean, he did anything he wanted, but mainly up the middle. Good question. Is Collins' impact that injury that impactful? It seemed like it, at least for the first game. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't have thought so, but like this is one of those scenarios where I look at the situation and I say, okay, the only real thing that changed was one of your best, and I understand he was having an incredible season, one of his best seasons, and he's been your best interior defensive lineman all year. But given all of the other guys you have there and how good we are on the edges, I would have never suspected we would see some fall off like that from Malik Collins being out. But I like to look at it a little scientifically, like nothing else changed. You're at home. Sure, it was cold, but the weather was like okay.
You played better
You
at home
only
too?
Yeah, you only had one guy out that really reflects the run defense, and you got shredded. So I'm sort of in that world of like, I don't know how that you can't look at that as being impactful because I don't know what else was different. Unless this team, the only other thing I can think of is this defense was riding high. They, like a lot of us in the fan world, including Mike, like Mike said it. Mike described what most of the fans were thinking. This game started bad. Like we were down early. Sanders made some of his like big mistakes early. A lot of fans, like at the backers bar, were like, I just kind of like, I know where this is going. We're gonna blow it to the Titans. And all I can think is like the defense got deflated, but they better learn from that because now you have a scenario where like you can't count yourself out of it. Like in a Dylan run offense where like you just dink and dunk and things are slow moving and everybody's gonna stack the box. Like I get how you can feel like once we're behind, it's over, but it's not an excuse for like you have Sanders' first start at home and you can't keep yourself pumped up to 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 get after the Titans. One analyst, I can't remember who it was, speculated like it looked like this game was all about like make sure you rush the passer and get after Cam Ward because he's a rookie, either because you're trying to keep Miles on a streak, or because you were like, our whole game plan will be torment Ward so that he makes mistakes, and all they did was just hand it off 100 times. They're like, okay, you're gonna keep just flying after Ward. He'll barely throw. We'll
Yeah.
just let our 2 mediocre running backs absolutely gas you.
And if you think that was a bad, that was against Tennessee. You're up against the second best rushing offense coming in, going to Chicago when they average 152 yards. In the last 3 games, they're averaging 172 yards rushing.
Their
So
game
they
is
better
awesome.
straighten that up, man. Ben Johnson, by the way, it's totally flipped that whole this is what a good coach does. He sees Caleb Williams. He says there's something special. I'm about to tap into it. And Caleb Williams is making that. And not only that, he's not just leaning on Caleb Williams' second year. He's running the ball. He's using the running back. And they are. I'm like, we're gonna say this for the pregame show, Mike, and I don't want to get too much into it on Saturday. But yeah, they're pretty good on offense, and that defense is going to be tested yet again on the run game for sure.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Next up, what's oh yeah, special teams. We really have to.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, they gave up they did you see that punt block? That guy literally walked in untouched, and he had to slow himself down so he doesn't get a penalty on the kicker.
Nobody in this special teams knows their assignments. And
Nobody.
that's why we've had some debates online this week. Somebody brought up, well, we have, 8 total rookies or whatever it is on the active roster, 9 total rookies on the active roster, including even a couple UDFAs and blah, 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 yada, yada. All true, all making the job difficult for Bubba Ventrone. The problem is that was not the scenario last year, and Bubba Ventrone and his unit had trouble. And to make things worse, guys aren't getting better. Gage Larvadane returning punts, like, we all are rooting for Gage Larvadane. He's a great story. He bobbles and or drops every punt. And you're telling me there's no one else you can get on there, or there's nothing you can do through the week to settle him down so he's better than that? You're telling me every time we kick off, it's because you have young rookies on the team that they don't know, this is my lane and this is where I have to cover? You're telling me that a veteran out there on the punt has no idea that he has to at least make contact with a free rusher coming in? Like, it's not just the rookies, it's not just the veterans, it's everybody, and it's not just kickoff or punt. It's punt return, kickoff coverage, your field goal team. Every part of special teams is bad, and it's worth bringing up because I heard it this week from one of our, like, very consistent accounts on X who we consistently chat with, that the Browns have the 5th lowest DVOA for special teams since 1990.
Yeah,
Guys, that's
not good.
40. What are we doing? That's almost 40 years ago. And we're the 5th worst special teams in the last 35 years.
Do you guys
Like,
want to see what 40 years looks like? This.
Like, guys, Mike had I had all my hair. Mike had a nice clean baby face. Like, we're talking about when Browns fans today were just babies. Browns fans who've been watching since '99. Some weren't even born at the time where this stat is taken. 5th lowest in 35 years. That's awful.
Oh,
Historically awful.
I would not mind seeing Thrash out there trying to receive some punts. That's another option that could be.
There's got to be somebody, right? Like, Dylan Sampson is on your active roster. You have Malachi Corley on your active roster. You've got Jerome
Didn't
Ford on your
Corley
active
get wiped
roster.
out too? Corley,
Are you telling me none of these guys can field a punt?
Yeah.
You telling me none of these guys on this roster can stay in their lane on a kickoff? Like, nobody can execute on any phase of the game? We all called, as our one off-season firing, we all thought Bubba Ventrone would be gone after the final game of last year. And then the biggest talk now is like, do you fire him this week or do you wait till the end of the season? I guess I'm fine waiting till the end of the season because what does firing him now actually do? But like, you can't get any worse than this on special teams.
I agree. Special teams brought to you by I'm just playing. You're like, I don't want that segment. Why you gotta put my sponsorship underneath the horrible
Special
teams?
teams. Hey,
Can
special
we have
teams
dude? What can we get? Dude
presented
wipes
by
in here.
Dude Wipes.
Yeah, seriously.
I actually got
did
these from
forget
the
to mention
stadium.
the that clip was brought to you by Lego Heads Barber Saloon. Get a quick clip over there at Lego Heads Barber Saloon and talk to Marlon. Let them know the Bearded Brown sent you. Next up, we have a segment called the Blame Game. That is brought to you by Bearded Bastards Barbecue Sauce. Go to beardedbastardbarbecuesauce.com and use the code Bearded15. Save 15% off your order. They are starting to sell coffee, by the way. So that's something you can, if you're into coffee, they have flavor coffee, maybe you can dabble. But use our code and save some money. But here's the blame game for you guys.
Oh yeah, we're doing that.
I like.
Are you frozen, Angel? You all right?
Oh no, I'm on the sorry. I'm watching the screen because I'm waiting for it. I didn't hear it in my ears. The blame game. I didn't hear it. I'm like, why ain't did he play the music yet? Blame game. We posted this on X and on Facebook. I posted on Facebook this morning. I'm actually looking for the poll. Oh, there it is from my end. What do you want to put up first? You want to put up X, the votes for X. Votes for X. There it is. The blame game.
Just a little bit.
Everybody blames Kevin, right? Yep, Kevin is to blame.
Well,
Darn
about
you,
half the
Kevin.
people blame special teams or the defense, and about half the people blame Kevin. I cannot believe 6% of people blame Shedeur. Are you out
That
of
was
your friggin'
ridiculous.
mind?
Yeah, dude.
That's literally the
I-
last person on the team that you could possibly blame for this.
Those
loss.
are
And I put it up there just to see how just ignorant it could
stupid.
be.
Yeah, there it is.
Somebody.
Those
There's
are
always
the
gonna be somebody.
stupid fans.
It's not a huge percentage, but of course, there's
Yeah.
always somebody.
So Kevin won that one. On Facebook, put up a poll. Believe it or not, Kevin won that one. 856 votes to Kevin. Special teams 88, defense 69, and Facebook's smarter, so no one voted for Shedeur, which is a good move, by the way. We put down there to trick people. I didn't think.
Oh
actual
no, there's
people
3 people that voted for, or a couple that voted for him.
Oh,
It's not
they
enough
just
to make
they
it
probably
appear.
just now did it. Okay. But yeah, Kevin won that one with a landslide for sure.
Yeah, see, now that
The-
bothers me too, because like as apparently the lead Kevin apologist, like I don't know how you look at that and you don't go. Your defense gave up over 30 points to the worst offense in the league. That's all Kevin, because everybody's been blaming Kevin for the offensive side of the ball the whole year and saying that the defensive side was Schwartz. So
Maybe
I
this
mean,
is the
guys, make
section
up
of
some
Cleveland
mind.
that can't read, and they just pick Shedeur asking who's the best quarterback that we have.
Yeah, man. No, they probably just no. Those are true haters. Like if you're gonna go and blame Shedeur for the loss after he's the one that put it on he 100% of the offense was on him. I mean, it's just crazy. But a lot of Kevin gets the blame because of the 2-point conversion. We could hit that before we leave. The 2-point conversion botch play. Listen, the first one, and people say, why didn't you put Shedeur in? I don't know if you guys watched the game, but Shedeur did fumble the first one. You botched it. Right.
I think that's the funniest take where they're like, how could you take Shedeur out? And I'm like, well, this Wildcat series they've been running for short yardage and 2 points has worked most times for the 2-point. I think there is a time. I think if you look at it in the long run, if Sanders earns his spot as like the franchise quarterback, they're probably not going to take him out very often. But the reality is this play series has worked a lot, and it was going to work again. And Sanders fumbled the first time. So it's so funny to me the amount of people you can tell weren't really in tune with the game because of what you just said there, Angel. Like, did you not see the first time? That's why. But realistically, I saw the play. It was a successful play. It was going to work. I think there's no bigger definition of brain fart than what happened to Judkins. And I am almost sure what they said was, okay, we're gonna snap this to you. You're gonna run over. Unless somebody falls and it's like you can walk in,
And
you're
we'll
gonna
have-
toss it
Yeah.
to Larvadane. And he was looking to see
Double
if
coverage.
he had any open lane. And
Yep.
then but he didn't realize, like, Larvadane just flew by, like, and he realized, like, oh like he's already
Yep.
passed me, and turned around, and it was like,
Yeah.
now the play's completely off. But guys, if he makes that pitch like he's supposed to, Larvadane
Touchdown.
jogs
I mean, 2
into the
points,
end
yeah.
zone.
So what
And
happened there was it was man defense, and the guy that ended up disrupting the play read the play correctly, and he was supposed to be out. The ideal was that if Larvadane was to get the corner was to get follow Larvadane, and then Junkins would run it in. Junkins read it wrong for some reason, either wrong or late, because that corner froze where he was, and at the last second he realized, crap, he's there. Oh, I have to pitch the ball to him here because he's going
And
to
he's
get
not
me
looking
'cause he was
behind
too
him to
close.
see that it's
Yeah.
wide open, but you
Yeah.
had to see it wasn't open on your side a full second earlier, and toss that to Larvadane, and it is a 2-point conversion successful, and you have tied this game, and you're right back in it.
Yep. But it,
I want to ask you guys a question. How many times have you seen the Wildcat with Kevin calling plays?
Dylan, Miami.
He did it
was-
earlier in the season when
Yeah,
Dylan
he did it. He did it 2 or 3 times with Dylan. And I do think that's not a Kevin play, by the way.
But
I
that's when
think
they
that's
do
the
it the
Tommy
most.
Reese play.
Oh,
I
you
think
got
that's
to
what
be
we-
Tommy Reese
we
coming
didn't
straight out of
do it.
college, right?
Yeah.
Kevin called it, but we didn't do it in the previous season. That's new. And some of that
Yeah.
has to do with Tommy. Some of it
Tommy,
has to do
yes.
with they have Judkins, Sampson, and Fannin. 3 guys, they're probably like, we can snap to all 3 of these guys, and that is a weaponry we've never had before. And
Yeah.
so I don't love it. I don't want
yeah, I
I don't
don't
want to
love
have
it.
to do
Yeah,
it.
I don't
I
wanna
would
do it
rather
again either.
save
I agree.
those for
When
I would rather save those. They seem like
Yeah.
they're using them so regularly. I'd
Yeah.
rather save them for, like, an
I'll
emergency.
I'll put it this way, stop doing it for the rest of the year. I've seen
Yeah.
that.
Put
I've
Sanders,
seen
if you're going to do it,
but
put
let
Sanders in there.
Sanders do it.
Like I said, the
100%.
problem is it works most of the time.
It hasn't worked the last 4. I mean, they had, and the reason why they do it for fans that don't know, the offensive line sucks so bad, and you can't run against with this offensive line. We gave you the stats earlier. If you did, listen to the beginning to show how bad this offensive line is. So what they do is they bring an extra blocker in. That's why they have Junkins with the ball, because if you have the extra blocker, you have an extra lane to get into. He's a tougher runner. He can either pass or throw, right? That's why they do it. I'm not making the excuse of why they did it this time. I'm on record saying stop it. Let's just stop it. Let's run Shedeur. Let him learn. He fumbled it because it was a bad snap by the new center, Whippler. They knew they were unfamiliar with each other. They should have just chalked it up. I
They should
get
be
it.
very
That's
familiar with
communication.
each other. That's who's been snapping to Sanders for probably most of the year,
You know what? That's a
because
good
he's
point.
not the starter. We can't say
So-
Sanders needs reps with the ones and then say he can't function because he's getting reps with the 2s and 3s. These
Yeah.
are the guys.
Yeah.
He should have
My
perfect chemistry
biggest
with
though-
Larvadane.
Yeah. My biggest issue is that he brought you down at that last field. He brought you down, and then he was on fire, man, that last drive, and you took the ball out of his hands. And Kevin's biggest knock is situational play calling. Sometimes he needs to read the situation and understand I'm going to veer from what I know and just follow the wave of emotion and let Shedeur just
And
ride
I'm
with
just
it.
not sure if that's Kevin's play call even though.
No,
Like, that feels like-
Kevin or Tommy. I'm sorry. I'll have to forget Tommy. Tommy's the play calling or the structure in which they call plays sometimes needs to be tossed out the window and say, all right, this situation calls for this.
Yeah.
But
It just
Shedor's doing something here. He's cooking. Let him continue.
I guess this one only bothers me because the players didn't execute,
Yeah.
and if they did, it was going to work. And that's not the play I want to blame the coaching for. If they call a play and
I
the
agree.
players just bombs, they're like, that's rough. But if the play, like, it's just like, if 4th and 1, everybody gets pissed when you throw. Everybody just wants to run Judkins up the middle. Then they call
Yeah.
like a bootleg or a play action. You
Why didn't you
throw it,
run?
and there's a wide open Harold Fannin, and he drops it, and people get mad at Tommy
Why didn't
Reese.
you
And I'm
run?
like,
Yeah.
but it was gonna work. He was about to score a touchdown, and
Yeah.
instead he dropped it. Like, the play was a good play. He tricked everybody, and it would have worked. I guess it just bothers me. There's plenty of time to be mad at the coaches, but when the play was gonna work and the player fudged it up, that's when I need to be mad at the player, and I just don't get why Browns fans don't have the capacity. You guys just love
Because
Judkins so much
they
coming
want
from Ohio
Kevin
State,
out.
you can't
Yeah.
bear to criticize him? You can't look at
Yeah.
Judkins and go, "God, you fudged that one up."
Yeah, you messed it up, so to answer James' question, why did they go for 2 down by 14? Analytics. That's the best answer I can
Because
give
we're the
you. It's
Browns.
better to go for 2 the first time and get it, and then you pay for the win or tie with the second score, as
You give yourself
opposed to
3 scenarios,
yeah,
guys. If you go for 2 the first time and you get it, you win the game with another touchdown and extra point. If you go for
yeah,
2 and you miss it, you still
you go
have a
for 2
chance to go
next
for
time.
2 the second time and tie it, and the third scenario is the one we had, like, you miss both of them, that's how you lose, but
You
there's also a lot of ways to lose
I'll
going for 1.
I'll say this, though. I know a lot of people wanna fire Kevin, but to the point we just made, you're giving rookies an opportunity to make plays, and they're rookies, and they're fumbling it. The play is there. If they were just to execute correctly, then this would be a moot point.
Did
So,
you see?
when go ahead.
Sorry. Did you see the press conference when somebody asked in the press if they've practiced that play?
Oh,
And
yeah,
Shedeur was like,
Shedeur. No, we
He's
didn't.
like, no, we just
No,
went out there
we're
and did
running
it.
plays we've never practiced successfully.
I
That's one of
love
the things I
that.
like
That
about
was
Shedeur, like, he'll go at the media a little bit, but he's not, like, confrontational like Baker. He just, like, what are you talking about? Why'd you ask that
Like,
question?
that's
A
no,
weird question.
he's
He's called
basically
out,
he's
like,
saying
3
that's a
questions.
stupid question without saying that's a stupid
Yeah.
question. Is what
right.
he's
He's
saying.
called out 3 different questions without, like, fighting with the media, just, like, by being sarcastic or silly, like, I actually like that about him a lot, but,
Yeah.
like, obviously, like, come on, guys, of course we practice it, and of course it worked in practice. Like, or we wouldn't have run it. Like, why
Yeah.
it's killing in practice, and that's why we ran it, like, but it just, got away from them, but, again,
Yeah, I'm ready
guys,
for it. If
if you
I'm
think
on
Kevin
record
needs
saying
fired, fine, just pick the right reasons. Pick a
yeah.
legitimate reason.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like, if you guys really watch the 22, like, some of these play calls, the receivers are open. Shador is getting it to them, he's learning, so I think that's gonna get better the next couple of games, that's fine. Dylan didn't see him, that's why he's not the starter, that's why he's not playing.
The one
So
thing we
when
all
people
thought he
say fire
could do.
Kevin and Tommy, I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna do that because they're gonna look at the tape and say, "Look, they're
We've
just not
watched all
executing."
22, right, Angel? We've watched all 22
Yeah.
film to see, and we've gotten analysis from offenses that the Browns have had that didn't work. Like, we had a Freddie Kitchens team, the offense didn't work. Like, nobody was ever open, no holes were made. It was
Shedeur.
a terrible scenario with a guy we know with people we know were good players. He couldn't make it work with OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nicholas Chubb, and Baker Mayfield. Like, there are bad offenses. Yes, this offense is giving nobody the feels lately, but I guess my only point is you watch these film breakdowns and we love Jake Burns and Brad Ward. Check out the OBR's film breakdown, or I'm sorry, check out Jess Brown's film breakdown. The former OBR guys have started their own thing. Check out Brown's film breakdown. You can also see these film breakdowns from the last 2 weeks um with
Jake
Chase
Daniels, right?
Daniel,
Chase
and he
Daniels.
does really great ones. And you watch the one with the 49ers, yeah, there's a ton of plays to be made. Sanders didn't make them. That's why it's so encouraging that he did this week because they were there last week. But the offense is there's not enough motion. I think that has somewhat to do with only 4 games with a veteran quarterback and the rest are with
Yeah.
late round rookies who like have a lot of NFL to learn. But when you look at these film breakdowns, guys, you get it. These offenses can work. Guys are getting open. They're just dropping the ball, or you have quarterbacks. Kurt Warner said this week in an interview about Shedeur, he says, I see a lot of very early timing reads that he doesn't see yet. And he holds the ball waiting for like a either more open play or a bigger play to be made later. And a big difference he saw between the Ravens, which was a nightmare, the Raiders, the 49ers, and today is He still missed a lot, but he made so many more early reads this week, and so that's a huge
He's improved.
testament to like, okay, this is what this offense can be if they
Yeah.
just continue to progress with the playmakers in there. They're all rookies and Jerry Jeudy guys. It's like,
Yep.
including your quarterback, the most important position in all of sports. Like, worry less about the offensive structure for now and more about, can these guys, especially the young ones, get it together and start executing?
And
Yep.
it's going to be fun to watch him the next couple weeks. With that being said, I got to go. So we all got to go. Thanks everybody for tuning. It's high stream. Everyone's watching, everyone's interacting. Thank you for tuning in, commenting, share the feed, follow our podcast on Spotify and Apple and iTunes. Sorry. We're on every platform. Continue to support. We appreciate it. And by the way, big moment for us today. 8,000 followers on Facebook. We hit 8,000 followers on Facebook. So thank you to everybody that is over there. Those boomers that are following us and interacting with us on Facebook. That's huge for 2
Boomers.
years. For 2 years, 8,000. That's good numbers. I believe
That's
we're
awesome.
close to 800 on X, which is good.
Mhm.
Chad's running that. So continue to support and show us some love. We'll be here Saturday, 10 o'clock. Mike and Sam will be talking it up against about the Chicago game, the pregame. So
Gary will be here with us as
Gary,
well.
yeah, Gary too. Yeah, sorry. So that's it, man. Shedeur, we believe in you. We love you. We're not racist. Until next time, like always, go Browns.